name is Teresa. Today we're going to talk about 8 ways of decreasing pressure at work. Let's go! Hi, my name is Teresa. I'm an international keynote speaker traveling the world talking about mindset and business culture. I'm also the founder and CEO of 30 Minute MBA. We increase workplace engagement through actionable learning and cultural design. And today we're going to talk about 8 ways of decreasing pressure at work. And this is actually a request from one of our fans, actually a couple of our fans. So this is for you guys. So I first want you to imagine you're sitting there at work. You're starting to feel the pressure. You're starting to feel the sweat in your neck and you feel your stomach turning a little bit. It's 3 hours before deadline and you have no idea how you will make it. First of all now, let's take a deep breath and release that pressure. The thing is though, that how often do we have that feeling? That feeling of pressure. We can talk about the problem with feeling pressure at all at work, and we will. But today we're going to talk about the immediate things you can do if you find yourself in that situation or a situation similar to that. Because of course that's not a good state to be the best version of yourself, to perform well, to get into flow. So we need to change that feeling. We need to change our body, our mind in order to make that happen. So we're going to give you 8 things to do. Because of course, one way of doing or to solve the problem is to go for a walk, to go to the gym, to do something physical. But you might not have that chance if you have 3 hours to deadline and you really need to perform now. So what can you do in the moment? Well, there's actually a lot of things you can do. First of all, acknowledge that this is happening. Don't run away from it. Don't run away from the pressure. Don't avoid it. Take a deep breath, acknowledge it, and then commit to the challenge. Commit to the task at hand. Know that you will finish it. So just by doing that, you're removing some of that negativity. Because of course, when we're under pressure, when we stop breathing properly, we start to play these worst case scenarios in our head. Like, oh, what if this happens? What if that happens? Oh my God, this could impact that one. And where our mind is spiraling down. And of course, we need to break that right away. So one way of starting with this is to take a deep breath, maybe 2, maybe 3, but a deep breath, acknowledging the situation, and then committing to solving the task at hand. We can deal with the reason why we ended up in this a little bit later, but at this very moment, that's not the time. This is not the time to do that. This is the time to commit to it, acknowledge and commit to it. So that's number 1. The second one is meditation. And you might think, meditation? I have 3 hours to deadline. I can't meditate right now. And will that even make a difference? Well, I can tell you, it most likely will. Because again, we need to get out of this frame of mind, this mindset of being stressed and under pressure. And meditation is really effective way of doing that. And there's short versions. You can do like a 3-minute one, you can do a 5-minute one, or even a 10-minute one, just to recenter yourself, to breathe, to get into being here and now. To reconnect with your body, to let go of that pressure completely. And I know this can be hard. So a way to deal with this or to easily get into this is of course to meditate daily or having that part of our morning or night routine. So if you're new to this, just having a couple of minutes of meditation could really help. So going away somewhere, put on your headphones and listen to something, or just sit in silence and breathe. There's a couple of different meditation techniques, but what we recommend in this specific situation is a 3 to 10 minute quick meditation to recenter yourself, to refocus, and then do what we just said in the beginning. Acknowledge it and then commit to the task at hand. The third thing you can do is to do quick call to your support system. Actually, we did a great video on building a support system that we're going to link down below. But basically just having a quick 5-minute call with someone where you express how you feel. where you talk to someone in this vulnerable moment and share with them your feelings, fears, and actually what's going on in this second. Because sometimes when we just speak to someone that really believes in us, that is there for us, that have the same values, and maybe even have been there themselves, it usually releases some of that pressure. And they can reaffirm to us how amazing we are, especially in a moment when we really need to hear it. The next thing we can do is to basically journal. Again, these things doesn't need to take a long time, and it can be really hard in this moment, of course, to even take any time off to do something when we have this deadline looming. But if we don't, we're going to struggle through the entire way, and we're never really going to get into it, and we'll not be able to perform to our best capacity. So again, taking 5-10 minutes, just take a pen and a piece of paper and write down your feelings. Write down what you are experiencing right now. Because what happens is that you get that feeling out of your body. It's really important to get out of your body. And as you can hear, there's multiple ways of doing this. If you're familiar with journaling, you will know how this feels really well. If you're not, we would recommend that you try this out in another format. Journaling is a really powerful tool in general, actually. But in this specific situation, just writing down, acknowledging your feelings on paper and then letting it go can really help to recenter yourself. Another thing that you can do is to imagine the outcome. Not this worst case scenario situation that is sort of hijacking your mind a little bit and you're thinking about all bad things that can happen. Not that. Let's break from that. No, imagine how it would feel to finish this with a great success. You are over-delivering on this thing. And in the end of these 3 hours or a little bit later after you have handed in this task or report or whatever it is, you get a sense of achievement. You feel that you achieved something great and you used your best potential, your ability to really bring something great to this task. By focusing on the outcome, that tapping into that emotion of sense of achievement, and focusing on the outcome, focusing on the goal, the best case scenario, can really help our mind refocus and get back into what we're doing. Because we are committed now, right? We're committed to complete this well. So with that commitment, just framing your mind of looking at, okay, this is the outcome. This is what we're going for. This is the goal, and this is why it's important. It's another effective way to reduce some of that pressure. One thing, we're not necessarily using it so much for pressure internally at the but we are using it sometimes to have an idea of what kind of ambition level we want with certain things. It's basically a scale from 1 to 5. So 5 means world class and 1 means great. And sometimes when we're working on certain things, especially when we're working together, we're sort of collectively deciding that, okay, for this specific task of the project, we're going to commit to 2. Sometimes we aim for world class as often as we can, but we don't always need to aim for world class. Sometimes great is good enough, because you can always build something great and then improve it. But more importantly, in this situation, just by looking at the task and see, okay, what kind of level do you need to put this effort on? Of course, you want to do your best, but by just using that, you might be finding that some of the things are maybe a 1, and there might be just 2 pieces of this challenge that is a 4. So by doing that, you can refocus on the things that really makes a difference for this project. And I'm sure you heard about the 80-20 rule, and that comes into play here to some extent as well. So that's another way of looking at this, of course. Besides the scale, we have the 80-20 rule, which is basically means that 80% is coming from 20% of your work. 80% of the result is coming from 20% of your work. But that was a bonus tip. Then, of course, we have the state of flow. And how can we get into flow when we're under pressure? Well, we can combine some of these things we have covered But then if we really want to get back into it, we can use music. We can use music to get into flow and really focus our mind on the task at hand. Put away all distractions. Put off the notifications and the emails and everything else, and just focus on the task at hand. See it as a sprint. And if you start that sprint by deep breathing, maybe quick meditation, maybe calling someone from your support system, maybe you're writing down your feelings, acknowledging it, maybe visualizing that end goal, the sense of achievement, how it will feel when you have completed this and it's great. And maybe have used this scale, or even the 80-20 rule for that matter. It will be so much easier to get into flow. And one way of kickstarting flow is using music. To have one specific song that sort of reminds your body and mind that, okay, now it's flow time. So those are 8 ways of reducing pressure at work. So we hope you find this useful. And if you are new here, we want to share a special gift for you. It's called the Futuristic You with a 30-day challenge. You can download in the description box below. You can see that it's also a book, and we will link that down below as well. And if you're new, don't forget to subscribe. Share below your best ways of dealing with pressure and the tips and tricks you have to really get out of that feeling you had in the beginning and into that feeling of excitement and passion to complete this next challenge in front of you. And as always, achieve greatness. Bye!